सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Verse number 33. Shreyan dravymayat yajnat jnana yajnah parantapa sarvam karmakhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. In the introduction to this verse, we already saw that topic of what? Samyak Darshanam. The topic is called Samyak Darshanam. Samyak Darshanam means internalizing the vision of no division. Samyak, very well. Darshanam, seeing very well. It's not about getting a new pair of glasses. That is not Samyak Darshanam. It is talking about a way of seeing, meaning understanding, assimilating the reality. A well assimilated knowledge about myself as the truth of the entire universe, as one with Ishvara and non-separate from the Jagat. This vision of oneness, which is well assimilated and absolutely clear, is called Samyak Darshanam. So that topic which was begun in 18th verse, talking about Akarta, that the Atma, that I, actually do not do anything. There is no doership for the I as revealed by the Upanishads. So this detail, this small little detail of Atma being not a doer, is extremely important, a precursor for this Samyak Darshanam. So Atma, usually they say Jiva, Ishvara, Atma, Paramatma. There is no difference. Even in the word Paramatma, what is there? Atma is there. So Ishvara, Paramatma is non-separate, is non-separate from this Jagat. This Jagat is the effect. Paramatma is the cause. Ishvara is the cause. And who is this Ishvara? The same Satchidananda as myself. We look at the trappings, we look at the garb, we look at the clothes, we look at the status, we look at the power. And so what are the clothes we are talking of? This body, mind, sense complex. Hanging. And Ishvara's body, mind, sense complex is what? Limitless upadhi. All knowledge is Ishvara. No antahkarana in particular. And so there can be a confusion. And so therefore the Samyak Darshanam means giving up doership. This we saw in verses 18 to something. And then in verse 24, 18 to 23, in verse 24, the entire thing was beautifully summed up. How was it summed up? This Samyak Darshanam means offering of all the karakas into the fire of knowledge. What are karakas? Factors connected to action. For this, little bit of grammar is necessary. And so, factors connected to the action, all the cases. And the cases, dative case, ablative case, object case, subject case, instrumental case, locative case, all these cases. And these cases are all consumed by the fire of knowledge, metaphorically speaking, because this knowledge is a very special knowledge, and unlike any other knowledges that also we saw, other knowledges leave the doer alone. In fact, the knower, doer, performer is buttressed, it's strengthened. So there is always a difference between knower, known. Here, in this knowledge, what is the difference? What is the specialty here? The specialty here is the knower is swallowed up. The knower is swallowed up, doer is swallowed up, and then if the doer is swallowed up, what about karma phala? Swallowed up. And this is going to be talked about now. But in the intervening verses, shlokas, we had a discussion of various disciplines for the sake of inner growth. Antahkarana Shuddhi. We had various disciplines, a whole lot of disciplines for the sake of Antahkarana Shuddhi. Now, those disciplines for the sake of Antahkarana Shuddhi were presented in what form? Yajna. Each one is what? Yajna. Because it's a metaphor. Yajna means there are three things. One is the offerer, one is the fire in which it is offered, and then the last one is what? What is the offering itself? Offerer, offering and fire. These three constitute yajna, and Lord Krishna had fun in the last few verses talking about these various yajnas, the yajnas of the sense organs, the yajna of inhalation, the yajna of exhalation, the yajna of yoga, the yajna of swadhyaya, studying one's own Veda, all these were talked about. But the human mind is a tough mind. Because whenever something is taught and it has something, there is something to do, what do? Catch hold of that. You catch hold of that completely and then think that that is the end, because one is oriented towards doership. So then finally, here in this shloka, the Lord is going to describe that there is no comparison between the means and the end. What are the means? They are the means to the end. They cannot be confused with the end A, and B, they cannot be compared to the end. Like for example, if I say, which is better? High school, should I get a high school degree or should I do my PhD? Is there a comparison? Because one is dependent on the other. Without a high school degree, you can not even, forget PhD, you can't even get a bachelor's degree. You have to have a high school degree, you have to finish high school in order to go to college. So the question which says, should I finish high school or should I go to college, is a moot question. It's not possible at all. There is no comparison. Tell me which is better, please. High school or college? Please tell me which is better. You can't do that. There is absolutely no comparison. To get to the PhD or a postgraduate degree, what do you need? You need a high school degree. It's a prerequisite. Similarly, all these disciplines must not be confused for the pursuit of knowledge. Even though the pursuit of knowledge is called pursuit, you are not chasing after anything. You're not chasing because knowledge is not a karma phala, knowledge is not something to do, knowledge is not comparable to any of these yajnas described before this verse. So saying, this verse is started, this shloka. Shreyan. Shreyan means superior. Superior means what? It's like a comparative word, correct? Yeah. Shreyan. So in the Vyakarana Shastra, in the grammar, we have, like in English, we have the superlative and the comparative. Comparative and superlative. What is comparative? So first we have a word, good. And what is comparative? Gooder. And what is the superlative? Goodest. No, best. Okay, that's an exception. But usually it is something like there is a ER for the comparative and EST for the superlative. Good, better, best. So like this we also have in English, and in Sanskrit also we have. So there is an easy way to go about it, and there is a slightly more difficult way to go about it. What is the easy way to go about it? Yeah, very nice. Everybody knows. You just add tara. Tara you add, that means better. So good tara means what? Better. And then you say good tama means best. Very easy. You add tara tama, you don't have to worry about anything. And then it's the nice thing is, if it is masculine or neuter, it will decline like Rama or Phalam. And if it is feminine, it will decline like Sita. That's how it is. Very easy. And then there is a slightly more involved way, and those are also pratyayas, suffixes, and one of them is called iyasun, and which means better. Good, goodiyas means better. This is how it sounds. After it is transformed, it is more like yes. Okay, so good, goodiyas means what? Better. And then the superlative is ishtan. Ishtha, it becomes goodishtha, means what? Best. Okay, so but there, since the pratyayas begin with the vowel, what do we have? What is the sticky issue here? Sandhis and so many other changes. Okay, so here Shreyan. Shreyan means better. And how do we know that? Because it's a word. And it's also here, he uses the word Shreya, Shreyas, because it is a word that is used for moksha. Where? Kathopanishad. We'll see that. Shreyascha preyascha manushyam etaha. Two things approach the human being. What are they? Shreyas, moksha, and then prayas. Prayas means please pray for us, because we have missed the boat. Yeah. So prayas means what? Pray for us. Shreyascha preyascha manushyam etaha. Tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. The wise person, the viveki, what does she or he do? What does she do? What does he do? Samparitya vivinakti. With great care separates the two. Both of them are there as comparable choices, but they are not comparable choices. They are only looking like they are comparable choices. There is only one choice, gaining which everything is gained. If you choose Shreyas, Preyas comes along for free. These people don't know, it's a big secret. And if you choose Preyas, Shreyas comes along for free? Say no, so we can move on. No. Preyas is finite. That's why prayers means please pray for us, because what have I chosen? Finite. Shreyas is the infinite. And then it says that the wise one, Shreyaha abhipreyaso vrinite, chooses Shreyas over prayas. And who chooses prayas over Shreyas? Mandaha. Mandaha preyaha yogakshemat vrinite. Driven by a sense of insecurity and needing to become secure. How do you become secure? By become secure by various hoarding anatma, hoarding all kinds of things which are in themselves finite. Finite plus finite, more finite. Limited plus limited, private limited. That's all it is. Yeah. One limited marries another limited. That's all it is. And so, what is the point? But this person doesn't understand that. Panic sets in when there is no security, or feeling that there is no security. In fact, you are the most secure thing that is there. You are the only thing that is self-standing, self-secure. But no, if you don't know that, then it's a very costly, what is that called? Costly. Ignorance is very costly. Ignorance is not cheap, okay? Even though one is born with it, the longer one perpetuates it, the more you have to pay for it. You have to pay for your ignorance through your nose. Knowledge is free. Not only is it freeing, but it's also what? Free. Ignorance is very, very costly. You pay for it through your nose because you are perpetuating samsara, sinking deeper and deeper into this becoming, into this life of ever becoming something or the other. And here too, the one who chooses prayers does so out of anxiety, panic, fear, anguish. Oh my God, nobody is there to take care of me. I better have a big bank account. How big is the biggest bank account? It's a finite number. And doesn't mean that if you have a big bank account, you will be happy. Ask all the people with big bank accounts. Unless they have Vedanta, they will be spending it all on therapy for themselves, their children and grandchildren. That is what will happen. If you have Vedanta, then money is not a problem. So, otherwise what happens is that even if you have a big bank account, it cannot take away the inner insecurity. There is a spiritual poverty. So what if one has everything in one's hands? It's a spiritual poverty. And that is the sense of lack centered on the I. So therefore, yoga kshema, apraptasya prapanam yoga, gaining that which I think will make me happy, which I don't have, is called technically yoga. And it's interesting because yoga also makes you bend in different ways. And here the pursuit called yoga also gaining what I don't have makes you bend over backwards to get it. And then kshema means protecting that which I have. I like how strong my body is. It has to be protected. How? By exercise, by eating well, all these things. Some things, to a certain extent, the protection is warranted. But we are talking of people who spend the whole day in the gym. This is excessive. So, kshema means protecting things that I have, wanting things that I don't have. And then that includes also two other things. Getting rid of things that I have perchance accumulated which I no longer want because my raga dveshas have undergone a change. And then keeping at bay things I don't have but I also don't want to have. Like what? Like illness. All these things. So these are all, these fourfold pursuits comprise what is known as yoga kshema. So Mandaha, Aviveki, chooses preyas over Shreyas because of the fear of insecurity. So there is a well-established tradition in the Shastra, in the Upanishad, to call Shreyas as moksha. And the Bhagavad Gita liberally borrows from the Kathopanishad, going to the extent of borrowing verses entirely without even bothering to change them. No copyright issue because both of them are teaching the same thing. So here, Shreyan. So the word Shreyas is actually Prashasya. That is the word. And then there is a sutra that comes in, Prashasya, Prashasyasya, Shraha. Replace Prashasya, the entire word, replace it with what? Shra. And sometimes Jya too, but that we won't look at right now. So to this Shra, you put what? Es. What does that become? Eyasun, Shreyan, and then you put Ishthan, Shrestha, comparative and superlative. So Shreyan means literally Prashasya Taraha, but actually it should be read as Prashasya Tamaha. It should be read as Shrestha, not Shreyan. Why? Because there is no comparison. It is better Shreyan Dravyamayat Yagyat. Compared to, fifth case is used for comparison also. So compared to what? Compared to the various yajnas, disciplines that we have discussed, which require material. Various materials are there. Even prana is a material. Swadhyaya is a material. So compared to the material based yajnas, jnanam, the yajna called the yajna of knowledge, where the ahankara, as we saw in the 24th verse, is offered into the fire of knowledge, where the knower is subsumed by the flames of knowledge. There is no more knower, there is no more doer, there is no more seeker of karma phala, and there is no more karma phala even. So that kind of knowledge is better, the verse says, than the material based yajnas and other disciplines. But actually it is not better because there is no comparison. It's like which is better, to be single or to be married, and each one can have hundreds of opinions about that, because those two choices belong to the same order of reality. So the people who have chosen not to marry, they will say, okay, these are the reasons why I have chosen to be single. And those who have chosen to marry will then give their reasons why it is important to be married. Correct? So, but here there is no such thing at all. There is no such comparison because one belongs to the Paramarthika, the choice of letting my ahankara, my doership, my I notion that is connected with the body, mind, sense complex be willingly subsumed by the flames of this knowledge, letting what I know to be myself as just this upadhi be completely burnt up in the fire of knowledge. That choice cannot be compared to small disciplines. There is both are not on a par. And so, therefore, Shreyan should be read as what? Shrestha, Prashasyatama. So then, so Shreyan Dravyamayat Yagyat, compared to these disciplines that have been discussed before, that require material, time and performance, then Jnana Yajna is better, means it is better, means here it is better for you to know this. Better for you to know, the better must be taken as there is no comparison. Why is it so? The answer is given in the next line. Sarvam, all all the karma. Sarvam karma, akhilam karma. Sarvam is not enough. Akhilam, everything, without any shesha, jnane parisamapyate. All the karmas meet their match and are devoured by this brilliant knowledge. What is the knowledge? I am akarta. I am not the doer. Therefore what? No guilt. I am not the recipient of this knowledge. I am not the recipient of the fruits of karma. No hurt. No guilt, no hurt. That is the end of samsara, which only this yajna can give. Other yajnas can give the readiness for this yajna, but the other yajnas cannot give me no hurt, no guilt. In fact, if I don't do the other yajnas, I feel guilty. So therefore, there is absolutely no hurt at all, no guilt at all, because it consumes the doership completely, totally. Because what is left? What is left over? You see this. There is no comparison, because it is like comparing something that is so sukshma, subtle, because understanding is always subtle. There is nothing to show for it. Unless you hang a board around your neck, I am Atmajnani, then there is something to show for it. But barring that, it's a silent affair. It's a silent change. It's a growing clarity. And this growing clarity is what is very, 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 very important. This growing clarity is to allow that, is to plunge into this knowledge entirely. People who take bath in the Ganga, especially in these months, how do they go? They put one toe in. You put one toe in, you put one toe out. Not happening today. And then you have to nurse that toe. Am I getting frostbitten? Okay, oh poor thing, let me massage it and let me get some blood circulation into it, like this. So you put the toe in to test, and then you put the toe out. And as the weather is getting a little warmer, you do that again, multiple times. Put the toe in, you put the toe out. You put the toe in, you put the toe out. That kind of a approach is perfect for Ganga Snanam. No problem at all. But that kind of an approach is not enough to be bathed by the Ganga of knowledge. To dip into the Ganga of knowledge, one toe in, one toe out, and then I wave it all about, is not okay. It's not sufficient. Because this knowledge is not on a par with any other thing. Yesterday we saw, it's not like it's on a buffet and then you choose this and then you choose a little bit of moksha and a little bit of samsara. No, but I love samsara. What can I say? Om Namaha. That's all. And even if you ask the person, what is it that you love about samsara? They will say, I like that small bursts of happiness, small moments of unbridled joy. Well, you don't have to have these small moments of unbridled joy. You can have it all the time. No, I don't think that's possible. That's the hopelessness talking. We talked a lot about hopelessness. So it is the hopelessness talking, because this cannot be attained. How can it be attained? And then people in the society also don't help. They say, look around you, who has moksha? Do you know anybody who has moksha? Nobody has moksha. You think you'll get it just for going for 3 months, you'll get moksha? Ha! This is how people will say. And then after you go back, they will helpfully or unhelpfully point out, even though you were in the ashram for 3 months, you're still getting angry, see? Even after studying Upanishad, you're getting annoyed. You're getting irritated after studying Gita. What's the use? And then you say, what's the use? Yeah, poor old me, what was I thinking? Where did this mumuksha suddenly come from? What is this? And so one buys into the societal hopelessness. One buys into the familial hopelessness. This is not a legacy that even our ancestors want us to carry. It is said that when someone gains this knowledge, 7 generations of ancestors are clapping, laughing, and throwing flowers on the person who has gained this knowledge. They are so happy because in your gaining this knowledge, they too are released. You have done something that they could not do or did not do for whatever constraints they may have had. But they feel gratified because all their efforts in, what is that called, in assuring the generations continued, all their efforts. Whatever they earned, they passed it on to the next generation. Whatever that generation of ancestors earned, they passed it on to the next generation. All that so that you could have this body, you could have this buddhi, you could have this mind. And so when you gain this knowledge, they are delighted. They feel like their efforts have been rewarded. This is what it says. Not only 7 up, but 7 down is also benefited. 7 generations hence will always talk about and have you as a role model. There was somebody in my family, my great-great-great-great-great-great aunt, my great-great-great-great-great-great grandma, my great-great uncle, grandpa. Somebody is there to look up to. This inspires 7 generations below as well. Whether they take up the knowledge or not is up to them. That we cannot influence. You cannot sort of, whip everybody into shape and make them sit in a class. It depends on their purushartha. But they can look up. They have something to, they have a role model, not somewhere outside in the society, but in their own family. This is a very, very big thing. I have been to many people's homes where they'll have a photo of some revered ancestor. They will say, this person gained the knowledge. Who is he? Who is she? They don't know. Some great uncle, some cousin, somebody related to the family. But they'll have the photo, they will worship the photo. Or they will say, my great-grandfather was a sannyasi. This is him. This is very important. So, but what does this discipline do? Or what does prayers do? Nothing. Time-bound gains. Forgotten. Forgotten by you. Forgotten by everybody else who comes later. When the ancestors, wherever they are, in Pitraloka, wherever they are, in ancestral realms, they say, oh, this one also is biting the dust. This one also sadly bit the dust. We'll hope for the next generation. That is why they are waiting. They too are waiting for their efforts to fructify. Whatever sacrifices they did, we don't know what all they did. Whatever sacrifices they did so that I could have this body, it's a miracle. It's just a miracle. And this Shastra is so beautiful. It connects us to whatever came before and whatever is going to come next. You're not dropped from the sky in a vacuum. You are born related. Even before you were born, somebody claimed you as a grandchild. Somebody claimed you as a niece, a nephew. Somebody claimed you as a sister or a brother. What to talk of parents? This is not an ordinary culture. It's a very, very beautiful culture which is centered on the gain of this teaching. So therefore, the disciplines that lead you to this place are incomparable to where this knowledge leads you. And so therefore what? Sarvam karma akhilam partha. Akhilam karma nashyati, pranashyati. How? How does the karma get destroyed? The karma gets destroyed because the karta gets destroyed. Who is the karta? Me, the great. Oh, that means I am destroyed. You are not destroyed. Who is destroyed? The notion that I am a doer, that is destroyed. The I notion, that is very stupid really, because it attaches itself constantly to the finite. Constantly, the I notion attaches itself to the finite, whereas what does it need to attach itself to? The infinite. The I has to be walked over to Brahman. The I that is firmly, like the child going to school or preschool. They call it pre-KG. KG means what? Kindergarten. Pre-KG means before the child even weighs 1 kg, they put it there. So, the child on the first day of school, 2 or 3 years old, it has its own little backpack, it has everything. It's holding the mummy's hand, walking to school. It doesn't know what school is. It's just excited because it's just school, something new. It got a dress, it got a backpack, it's very happy. Until when? Until the mummy, who is supposed to be with me all the time, this is my mummy. And what did my mummy do? My mummy unclutched my little hand that was holding on to her finger and then handed me over to this strange person called teacher. Who is this lady? Never seen in my life. And what's wrong with all these children? They are bawling their head off. And then what do? I also start crying louder than them so that I am noticed. But then after a little while, what happens? The child settles down. The child understands, mummy hasn't gone anywhere. She's just gone missing for an hour or 2. And then she comes back, and then again happily, I can sit in her lap, I can hold her hand, and I can go home with her. And then slowly, and the child starts to say, see, that this is an interesting vista. There are some interesting things happening, which doesn't happen at home. Here, I'm given a pair of safe scissors. I can just, at home I'm not allowed to handle scissors at all. And here I can have fun cutting up stuff. And then here I can stick some things with the gum. And then nobody is mad at me. Here it's nice in a way. It's so the child gets accustomed to its new identity as what? Student, kindergartner. Like this, the ahankara also. What is the ahankara? The small child. And what is the mummy? Samsara. Mummy daddy is samsara. Mummy daddy is kartritvam. Mummy daddy is what? Bhoktritva buddhi, guilt and hurt, finitude. Mummy daddy is dehatma buddhi. Body is I. Iti consciousness. Iti understanding, misunderstanding. And what else is mummy daddy? Insecurity. All these things. Pain, sorrow, all these things because it is familiar. So I am holding the hand of this mummy daddy. Avidya, that is the mummy. Ajnanam, that is the daddy. Yeah, this is what I am holding on to very tightly. And what happens? The Shastra takes me. The Shastra loosens this hold and takes me to Brahman. Brahma gamayati. The Shastra takes, and then the Shastra takes me to Brahman. I don't go easily, just like the child going to school, first day of school, what do? Kicking, screaming, I resist. I get angry. I have a tantrum right then and there. At least for the child, it's a momentary tantrum. for this adult jiva, it's a lifelong tantrum. Tantruming thing. Right on the gates of the ashram, I have a tantrum. I want to go back. I can't handle this. This is too much. How am I going to live here? OMG. And so all kinds of things. So many things I have to change. So many things about myself. I have to become now an apprentice of this knowledge. I have to subserve this knowledge. I have to serve this knowledge for it to yield something, because the ajnanam, the eclipse of ajnanam is so strong that I have to do something to just overcome this. And therefore this verse says, once you do this, all the karmas are gone, because the karta is falsified. So one meaning is that there is no comparison to these other disciplines. All the karmas are gone because there is no karta. Like a dead man's bank account, who is it going to go to? Especially if that person has not left a will. Very rich man suddenly died without leaving a will. There is no claimant. So the bank account is what? Karma phala. And the dead man is who? The dead karta in the wake of this knowledge. In the wake of the knowledge, a lot of things die, and they have to be allowed to die because they are a tumor. Like a tumor overcomes the organ, kills the organ. Before that, what should we do? Kill the tumor. And of course, they say operation and all that, surgery is there, but more and more they are looking into non-surgical options of neutralizing the tumor, because not everybody can undergo surgery, number one, and also certain times the tumor is in places that are inoperable. Without causing some danger to the other things, you cannot operate upon the tumor. So then they have devised a way, through a catheter, they go to the tumor with a lead, and then what do they do? Through the blood, through the arteries, they go up to the blood vessels and the arteries, supplying blood to this tumor. And they put a block there. Then what happens to the tumor? No blood supply, and it shrivels up and dies. Of course, it causes a lot of pain when it's doing that. But they say that's a good thing, because it just shrivels up and dies. Similarly, the tumor is kartritva buddhi, bhoktritva buddhi, aham samsari iti buddhi. And then this shastra takes away the blood supply. And then what? It dies. What dies? Kartritva buddhi dies. Bhoktritva buddhi dies. That's why you are Amrita. You understand? I'm no longer the body association. The body identification dies. I am this much only, dies. I am the mind. Never mind. That also dies. I am the senses. I am as much as I can see. Dies. I am limited. Dies. That notion dies. I am a doer. This is all I have done. Dies. I am the reaper of the fruits of my action. That notion also has to die. When all these notions die, the only thing that is left is Paramatma, Param Brahma. And that I am, Tattvamasi, that is the teaching. And so, how can you compare this to some small disciplines? No comparison at all. Absolutely no comparison. And so therefore, this makes the karmas go away, because in the wake of this knowledge, one is free. One is free to do, one is free not to do, depending on their own desires. And so therefore, very beautiful verse. And then it says, another meaning also we can give here, Sarvam karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Samapyate comes to an end. How do the karmas come to an end? We have seen this with the help of the Mundaka shloka. Which was that? Which Mundaka shloka? भिद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिः छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे. We have seen that. In the wake of this knowledge, the knot of ignorance, which is a tightness in the heart, is torn asunder. And then after that, what else happens? So the knot of the heart is torn asunder. Then all the doubts regarding, am I Brahman? When will I become Brahman? What is Brahman like? Can somebody show me a photo of Brahman? Just one photo. All these doubts are dissipated. And then finally, all the karmas. Karma, karmani, karmani. Plural. Means more than two. All the karmas, what happens to them? Kshiyante. They just decay like the tumor told above. They just decay. They die away. How do they die away? Because in the wake of this knowledge, the sanchita goes away. It is falsified. Because the karta is falsified, sanchita is falsified, and then agami karma doesn't touch the jnani, because the jnani is an embodiment of dharma, because dharma is a prerequisite to atma jnanam, and so dharma, because of dharma, the agami karma, that which comes, they are not going to violate dharma. They don't have a rebellious, what is that? I have to go against the society. I have to make a statement. They have other ways of making a statement. They don't need to make a statement. They are a statement. They are a walking, talking testimony of this knowledge. That is the testimonial. They don't need to stand out because they are outstanding. They don't need to make a statement. They don't have a sense of lack. I want to be noticed. That is not there. And so the agami karma is not going to cross dharma ever. And then finally what is left? Prarabdha. Prarabdha who? They will say. What prarabdha? No, but you are in a wheelchair, Swamiji. People used to say this to Swamiji. Prarabdha you are having. That is from the standpoint of lokadrishti, from the onlookers. From the viewpoint of the onlookers, it is called prarabdha. But from the standpoint of the jnani, who does not have even a single whit of body identification, what prarabdha? Body came, somebody took care of the body goes. I am not this body. It is evident. So the prarabdha also goes. All the karmas completely go away. Bhashya. Shreyan dravyamayat dravya sadhana sadhyat. Very nicely he gives the separation. So Shreyan, he doesn't explain it here, he will explain later. Dravyamayat means, how do you take this suffix called mayat? So dravya means full of, primarily, which is predominantly characterized by prachuryarthe, we have to take predominance. Predominantly characterized by sadhana and sadhya, means and ends. So Shreyan dravyamayat yajnat sadhana sadhyat. That is, dravya is the sadhana and there is a sadhya, something to be gained, which is antahkarana shuddhi. That is different from me. The material is different from me. Like this, this is the yajna of dravya, material yajna. Jnana yajna, he parantapa, the scorcher of the enemies. Meaning what? Submit yourself to the knowledge that will scorch your identity as this jiva. That is the idea. Because any time he talks, he calls Arjuna by a certain epithet, that means something. It's always not accidental. Then he says, Dravyamayo hi... did I leave anything? No, okay. Dravyamayo hi yajnaha phalasya arambhakaha. Why is it better? Why is jnana yajna incomparable Because the yajna based on the materials and the yajna that was taught as a discipline is what? Phalasya arambhakah syat. Because what does it do? When you perform this yajna, the phala starts. And what kind of phala? Drishta phala and adrishta phala. Immediate result of going for a walk. What is that? You feel happy, you have seen the Ganga, you have been with the mountains, you feel refreshed. Immediate result. And then if you keep doing that, there is also what? A long-term result. What is the long-term result? Better fitness. Long-term result. Better fitness is there, that is the long-term result. And then so this is the two kinds of results, that any kind of discipline or any kind of yajna, or even if you take yajna literally, like the kind that is offered into the fire, all of them are what? They are all result producing, drishtaphala producing, immediate result producing, long-term results producing. Agents of results they are. Whereas, what about jnana? Jnana yajna does not produce any result. Ayyo, why didn't you tell me at the start of the course? I would have had a second thought. What do you mean? I am putting in so much work and it doesn't produce any result? Wait. So, the dravya yajna produces result means those results are finite in nature, wanting the infinite. The jiva puts into motion more actions in order to get more results, and more actions and more results in order to get to the infinite. Through the finite, the infinite can never be got, because the infinite happens to be the nature of yourself. So one is in a loop, and that loop makes one loopy, and that loop, the name of this loop is what? Samsara, which is some sorrow or the other. I didn't get what I want. I tried so hard, I didn't get what I want. Whereas the knowledge swallows up the doer, and when the doer and the knower are swallowed up, what result will be there? The result is also swallowed up. But we do talk about jnana phalam. What is jnana phalam? Moksha phalam. The moksha phalam is showing the shastra, showing you exactly how you are. The shastra shows you how you are. The shastra shows you, reveals the truth of yourself. Exactly how you are. And so that means what? That means you don't have to do anything at all anymore, because that exactly how you are is exactly happens to be what you want to be. Do I want to keep going in circles, searching? No. I want to have the quest end. The only thing that is finite in my life should be my quest. The quest should be finite. I should not be an infinite seeker. What should I be? Seeker of the infinite. Then the quest is finite. If I'm an infinite seeker, I'm going from door to door, ashram to ashram, knocking and saying, please give me some shanti. Please give me some mind peace, mental peace. And so therefore, gaining this, there is no more seeker. The seeker is swallowed up, because what you want to be is exactly what you already are. This is revealed through the commitment to the knowledge. This is what is Shravana phala, Moksha phala, Jnana phala. This is not really a phala. Why? Because it is already you. So therefore, the other yajnas are critiqued by the Lord as phala arambhakaha. Because they produce results, and those results you have to deal with those results. And those results are what? Acceptable or unacceptable based on what? My own raga dveshas. So therefore, this is non-comparable. And then what else? Then, so ataha shreyan prashasya taraha. Adi Shankara is showing off his grammar by replacing the original word. Prashasya taraha. But I already told you, we should say shreshtaha. Prashasya tamam jnanam. Shreshtham Jnanam, Prashasyatamam Jnanam. Or if you take Yajna, Shreshthah Prashasyatamaha, we have to say, in keeping with the masculine. So therefore it is incomparable. There is no better or best, it is incomparable. That which perpetuates the doer, perpetuates the phala, and that which swallows up the guilt and hurt along with the doer and the phala, which is, how can you compare the two? And then the first one, Dravyamaya Yajna, what does it do? These kinds of disciplines, what do? They perpetuate samsara. What does Jnana do? Atmajnana resolves samsara, makes the samsara disappear. And then we also saw in the previous verse, Tan Sarvan Karmajan Vidhi. And how was Karmajan translated by, defined by Adi Shankara? Anatmajan. Anatmajan. Samsarajan. That which, is born of samsara, perpetuates samsara. That which is born of anatma, not atma. What is born of atma? Nothing is born of atma. This is not atmaja, it is anatmaja. It is keeping the focus, keeping yourself small basically. It's my small little world, my small little belongings, my small little peeps. What is peeps? People, short for people. My small little peeps, my small little job, my small little life. It keeps you just playing small. When you're actually Brahman, which is the biggest of them all. There is no biggest even, it is just limitlessly big. So therefore, this playing small can get very tiresome, extremely tiresome. And therefore what? This Jnana Yajna stops that in its tracks, gives me what I really want. Then he asks a question. Katham yataha sarvam karma samastam akhilam apratibaddham. Akhilam, he says, apratibaddham. Apratibaddham means without any shesha, without anything left behind. Jnane moksha sadhane sarvatas samplutodakasthaniye parisamapyate antarbhavati ityarthaha. So how does this take place? What takes place? How does this whole thing takes place? How does this Atmajnanam takes place? And that we will see in the next class, because it involves bringing in a verse from chapter 2 and a quote from the Chandogya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo